These bronze Terraflex Nomads are looking so sexy on this black 392 with all the bronze gold accents on this thing. It looks so good, but I just can't bring myself to keep a black vehicle. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the ShockerRacing Garage. For those of you that are new here, my name is James, and this channel is all about the builds that happen right here in our home garage. Now, for those of you that have been following along, you know that a lot has been changing here in the garage lately. The Mojito Jeep has been sold to Kim's parents. The Neon Bronco got sold to Carvana. A lot of you have been asking me about the 392 Wrangler. We had a bunch of content right when we first got it, and then kind of let it fall by the wayside because we've been working on other projects, the Bronco, this and that. People were wondering if there was more 392 content coming soon. That is our last big twist, I guess you could call it. And what's cool is that even though we have decided to sell the original 392 project, that one went to my dad. So that one is again staying in the family. We have turned this whole family into a Jeep Wrangler family. So the original granite 392 Wrangler on the channel here is staying in the family. My dad's keeping it, he loves it. And we just picked up another 392 Wrangler project. So here she is, boys and girls. This is a 2022 Jeep Wrangler 392 that we custom ordered. We placed this order back in March of 2022. We got it in July, so we have had it a few weeks already, and we've been kind of piecing together our plans and our project for this one. But this is one you guys are going to want to keep your eyes on. We've got some big things coming. We've already been partnering with some great companies for the mods on this 392 build. Now, where we were at on the original 392 is we jumped on and we took one of the very first ones we could get. Now, you all know granite is not a color that Kim and I would typically choose. Obviously, we like things a little brighter, and we got another black Jeep. So what does that tell you? What does that mean? You know it ain't staying black, so drop your comments below. What are we doing with this one? What color is it gonna be? And stay tuned to see, because this video is not going to be about the color change, but a handful of the first mods we're throwing at this thing. It's all going to start with the Clayton Offroad Jeep Wrangler 392 specific lift kit. You all know that we put it on the original Granite 392, and it's been about a year and a half, and it's been phenomenal. It rides and drives great, perfect for everyday driving. And well, we didn't get it off-road yet, sadly. But this one, I promise you, is going off-road ASAP. So stay tuned, we're gonna put this Clayton lift to the test. There's a handful of things and reasons why we decided to go with the Clayton lift once again for this 392. And we're gonna go through those in just a minute here. But I wanna make sure you guys all stay put for the whole video here, because we are gonna show you the wheels that we have selected, the tires we've gone with, how big we're going, and that will all come in this video. Okay, so honestly, on the first Wrangler 392 build, we were unsure of how rare they were gonna keep the 392s. We weren't sure if it was gonna be a pretty rare special edition. Obviously, we're now going into year 3 of the Wrangler 392 production. They're still not like everywhere, but they're not like super rare. Anybody could go on and order a 392 right now if you want. But not knowing kind of played into our thought process for how we wanted to build that first one. We wanted to keep the 392 wheels, and we wanted to keep the bronze 392 specific Fox shocks. Things along that line. So we didn't want to go too big, too crazy with the build, in case we ever wanted to put it all back to stock just for the rarity of the Jeep. Since we now know they've built quite a few and pretty much anybody can go and order one, we're going bigger with this one, going wilder. But we decided we wanted to stick with the Clayton Offroad Overland lift kit because, let's be honest, we spend most of our time on the streets and we are weekend warriors. We like to tell ourselves that we're gonna be professional off-roaders someday, but when you live in the middle of Chicago, 4 hours away from the closest place to off-road, it's never gonna happen. So We needed a lift kit that can daily drive every day on the street and still do work out on the trails. And this Clayton Offroad lift kit is the perfect blend. This is a lift kit that was designed with specific coils for the 392. So it's designed to ride and drive properly with this build setup. It's not just a spring they pulled from another vehicle and slapped it on their 392. This time we are going with the 3.5-inch overland lift kit from Clayton. So we should get a little bit more height out of it than the last one to help us fit these massive new tires we're going with. The next big thing for me with this Clayton lift kit has to do with their joints, their control arms, and that they are maintenance free. Meaning that there's no grease fittings or anything that need to be maintained on a regular basis. These are long lasting joints. And I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I'm a pro or know everything about all the different joints from all the different companies that make these control arms. I just know that these work. They've been great on the road for the last 1.5 years on the other 392. And you know, they're supposed to have great flex. So again, we're gonna be putting this one to the test. So we should still be able to get that weekend warrior flex capabilities out of this that we need, while still maintaining a proper everyday daily driving ride. Now, for those of you that watched our original install video of the Clayton lift kit on the 392, you know that I kind of complained about these sway bar end links. Basically, it came down to, for me, we had done the install on the garage floor here with my basic garage tools. Super easy install. I just didn't have the proper stuff to cut these down. Now we do, and should make things a lot easier this time. We're about ready to jump on doing this install here. We're not gonna make you sit through every nut and bolt install of this. If you wanna see that, you can jump over to our previous video. But we're gonna get going on this. You'll see what shocks we decided to go with this time, because we are ditching the factory Fox shocks. You'll see what tires, how big. All right, it is day 2 here in the garage for the 392 transformation. Right now we are rocking the Carolina lean or the Carolina squat because the front end is pretty much done with the 3.5-inch lift, but we have not touched the back. So I don't know if you can tell, but it has definitely got a rake to it. Not as drastic as you would think, but it is definitely squatted. The lift is pretty much done in the front. We did not finish the track bar, and we need to torque down all the control arms. But other than that, the front end is pretty much done. You can see we ended up going with the King dual reservoir shocks in here. I don't know if you guys can see that from there, but there you go. We have those on the Neon Gladiator, and they have been phenomenal shocks both on and off road. So we knew immediately that was the route we were going on these. So yeah, so that's all done, ready to go. And the crew is on their way over. We will be starting shortly on the rear here. Usually the rear does not take as long, although I probably shouldn't say that because that's like the kiss of death, right? All right, so here it is, boys and girls, the final official unveiling of the brand new Rubicon 392 Wrangler sitting on the Clayton 3.5-inch lift kit. We did go with the King dual reservoir shocks once again, as well as a set of 40-inch tires on the TerraFlex Nomad wheels. Now this time, in comparison to the Neon Gladiator, we went with the Mickey Thompson Baja Boss 40 by 13.5 17-inch tires. From my research, these are supposed to be a very comparable tire to the Nitto Trail Grapplers, which we've loved on the Neon Gladiator, but they are not available, so we thought we'd try out a different brand this time. And everybody has been telling me that these Baja Bosses are the way to go. So we're gonna try these out. I have only put a few miles on this thing since we finished the lift kit, so I can't say for sure, but stay tuned. In the future, I will make sure I give a full review on the Baja Bosses versus the Nitto Trail Grapplers. Look at how beefy these control arms and how awesome these things are sitting in here with the King shocks. I mean, that is just sexiness right there. Now, some of you will notice that on the new Wranglers, the newer Wranglers for 2022, Jeep added in this like crash test bar only on the passenger side in the front wheel well. And well, that was rubbing right away with the 40s. So we had to take that off, and that was a bit of a process. Now you'll see there's 3 bolts here that hold that bracket in. Seems simple enough. What you don't see is tucked up under here alongside the frame. There's 2 more bolts that are super long, and as far as we could tell, there was no way to get them out without cutting them off. So we did have to take a Sawzall to them. That was a bit of a process, but we did get it off. And I'm gonna end up cutting off the rest of this bracket here because that's never gonna stay. And it does get really, really close to the 40s, being that these Nomads are only a -12 offset. They're not really sitting out all that far. So the next part of my process is gonna be to start kind of chopping that. I'm gonna have to figure out some different rock rails. I am gonna go with some different aftermarket ones this time instead of sticking with the factory ones like on both of our previous Rubicons. So those rock rails will go soon. Drop some comments below, what rock rails should we go with? Because we definitely want some beefy ones that are gonna offer some protection. I don't care about a step, but I want protection. And then in the rear, we are already rubbing quite a bit on this plastic in the liner. So that's gonna have to go. We're gonna have to do some trimming on the pinch weld in there. I have not done any of this before. On the Gladiator, I literally bolted the 40s on with the lift and had no problems with rubbing. I've been driving like that for 3 years now. Wrangler's a little different in the way that they did these fender flares. So if you've got any suggestions or tips on how much to cut, what to cut, please drop those in the comments below because I definitely need to know what I'm gonna have to chop. So you can see with the 40s and the 3.5-inch lift, it's super close here. So when I hit bumps, it hits. We're super close to the rock rail here. This wheel's turned out, so you can't tell how close, but it gets really close to that. It does touch that occasionally. Maybe on this side. Yeah, you could see it's pretty much touching the rock rail right there. So I got my work cut out for me before I can actually get this thing off-road. Next up tomorrow, it's going in for the window tinting. And oh yeah, still got the factory little dinky tire on here because we're gonna have to swap our Rusty's spare tire carrier over to this one that we took off of Mojito. I do have the 5th spare over there, so I didn't cheap out. I am gonna be running 5 of them, but I'm not gonna bother doing that until we figure out this color change. So stay tuned. You're not gonna wanna miss this one. And I've gotta say, these bronze Terraflex Nomads are looking so sexy on this black 392 with all the bronze gold accents on this thing. It looks so good, but I just can't bring myself to keep a black vehicle. I can't stand black paint. I will not deal with it again. So you know this has gotta change. You know it's coming, but for now, I'm gonna enjoy it as it is because that thing is beautiful. All right, I've got a big mess to still clean up. I've still got parts everywhere, tools everywhere. All my stuff from doing this install is still laying around everywhere and it's been days. I've gotta get this stuff cleaned up. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and are looking forward to what's to come with this 392. I promise you it will be going off-road, so stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give us a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you in the next one.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. Stop, slip to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test.